Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about something that affects every area of your life. Your thoughts. Your mind is like a garden. If you allow weeds to grow unchecked, they will take over and choke out the beautiful flowers. In the same way, negative, toxic, and infected thinking can hold you back from living the full, abundant life you were created for. Some people walk around every day with thoughts of fear, doubt, insecurity, and failure. They've let the wrong voices take root in their minds. Voices that say, you're not good enough. You'll never get ahead. Things will never change. But I'm here to tell you, those thoughts do not belong to you. They are infections trying to steal your joy, your peace, and your destiny. You wouldn't drink a glass of water if you knew it was contaminated. You wouldn't keep food in your kitchen if it had mold on it. So why allow contaminated, moldy thinking to live in your mind? It's time to clear out those old, defeated thoughts and replace them with the truth about who you are. You are strong, you are capable, you are an overcomer. You have everything inside you to rise above any challenge. But it starts with what you allow into your mind. The good news is you don't have to stay stuck in infected thinking. You can make a decision today to let go of every toxic thought and choose faith over fear, victory over defeat, and possibility over limitation. So the next time a negative thought comes knocking, don't answer the door. Replace it with words of life. Stand tall, walk in confidence, and step into the amazing future that's waiting for you. Your mind is one of the most powerful tools you have. It shapes your reality, influences your emotions, and directs the course of your life. Think of it like a garden. Whatever you plant and nurture will grow. If you plant seeds of faith, confidence, and hope, you'll see a life filled with peace, joy, and success. But if you allow weeds of doubt, fear, and negativity to take root, they will choke out the good and limit your potential. The condition of your mind determines the quality of your life. That's why it's so important to be intentional about what you allow to grow in your mental space. Just like a gardener carefully selects what to plant, you must be selective about the thoughts you entertain. Imagine if a farmer planted thorns and weeds instead of crops. He wouldn't expect a harvest of wheat or fruit. Yet many people fill their minds with negative thoughts, destructive self-talk, and constant worry, then wonder why they aren't experiencing peace or fulfillment. The truth is, whatever you consistently dwell on will become the reality you live in. If you want a mind that flourishes, you must be intentional about planting the right seeds. The problem is, negativity often finds a way into our minds without us realizing it. Just like weeds can grow in a garden without being planted, negative thoughts can take root from the things we hear, the people we surround ourselves with, and the experiences we go through. You don't have to try to grow doubt or fear. It naturally appears when you let your guard down. That's why you must be diligent in removing the thoughts that don't belong. Just as a gardener regularly pulls out weeds before they spread and take over. If you've ever seen a garden left unattended, you know what happens. The weeds grow wild, the flowers wither, and the beauty is overtaken by chaos. The same happens with your mind when you allow toxic thinking to go unchecked. Over time, negative patterns develop. Fear becomes your default response. Insecurity feels normal, and you start to believe the lies that tell you you're not good enough or nothing will ever change. But just because those thoughts have grown doesn't mean they have to stay. You have the power to uproot them and plant something new. A flourishing garden doesn't happen by accident. It requires effort, care, and consistency. The same is true for your mindset. If you want to live a life filled with confidence and peace, you must make a daily habit of feeding your mind with truth, hope, and positivity. Read things that inspire you. Speak words that uplift you. Surround yourself with people who encourage you. When you do this consistently, you'll find that your mind starts to transform. You'll no longer be overwhelmed by negativity because your thoughts will be rooted in strength and faith. One of the best ways to protect your mental garden is by being mindful of what you expose yourself to. If you constantly listen to negative voices, whether from social media, the news, or people around you, you'll find it harder to stay positive. But if you choose to fill your mind with faith, encouragement, and wisdom, you'll cultivate a mental environment where good things can grow. You can't stop every negative thought from appearing, just like you can't prevent every weed from sprouting, but you can refuse to let them stay. You also have to be patient with yourself. A garden doesn't grow overnight. It takes time, seasons of change, and steady effort. Some people give up too soon because they don't see results right away. But if you keep planting the right thoughts, keep pulling out the weeds, and keep watering your mind with encouragement, eventually you'll see the harvest. Your perspective will change, your confidence will grow, and you'll walk in a new level of joy and freedom. The question is, what are you planting in your mind today? Are you sowing seeds of faith and possibility, or are you allowing weeds of fear and doubt to take over? The good news is, it's never too late to change what's growing in your life. If you start today making small, intentional changes, you'll soon begin to see a transformation. Because when you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your future. Just like an infection can spread through the body, weakening it and causing harm, negative thoughts can spread through your mind, affecting your emotions, actions, and even your future. The problem with infections is that they often start small, just a tiny cut or an unnoticed wound, but if left untreated, they can grow, spread, and cause serious damage. The same is true for your thinking. A single doubt, a single worry, or a single insecurity may not seem like much at first, but if you allow it to stay, it multiplies, taking over your confidence and stealing your peace. Many people don't even realize they are living with infected thinking. They have gotten so used to thoughts of fear, worry, or self-doubt that it feels normal. But just because something has been in your mind for a long time doesn't mean it belongs there. If you were sick, you wouldn't just accept the illness and do nothing about it. You'd take medicine, seek treatment, and do whatever it takes to get better. In the same way, you have to take action against negative thinking. You can't afford to let it stay and grow. Negative thoughts weaken you from the inside out. They drain your energy, steal your joy, and make you see problems where there are opportunities. Have you ever noticed how one bad thought can ruin your whole day? Maybe you woke up feeling good, but then a thought came. What if I fail? Or I'll never get ahead. Instead of rejecting it, you entertained it. That one thought led to another, and soon you felt discouraged, unmotivated, or even anxious. That's how infections work. They spread if they're not dealt with quickly. The danger of negative thinking is that it doesn't just stay in your mind, it starts to shape your reality. When you think you're not good enough, you start acting like you're not good enough. When you believe that things will never change, you stop trying to make them better. Your thoughts direct your actions, and your actions shape your life. That's why it's so important to cut out infected thinking before it spreads and limit your potential. The good news is that just as infections can be treated, negative thinking can be healed. You don't have to live in a cycle of doubt, fear, or insecurity, but just like you have to take medicine to treat a physical illness, you have to take action to remove negative thoughts. That means replacing them with truth. When a thought of fear comes, fight back with faith. When insecurity whispers you're not enough, remind yourself, I am more than enough. You have the power to choose what stays in your mind. One of the most effective ways to fight infected thinking is by being mindful of what you feed your mind. If you constantly listen to negativity, whether from the news, social media, or people around you, it's no surprise that your mind feels weighed down. But if you choose to fill your mind with faith, encouragement, and positive influences, you create an environment where good things can grow. The more you focus on what builds you up, the less power negativity has over you. You also have to surround yourself with the right people. Some people are like medicine. They lift you up, encourage you, and push you forward. Others are like infections. They spread doubt, fear, and negativity. If you want to keep your mind strong and healthy, be intentional about who you allow to speak into your life. Find people who challenge you to think bigger, believe in yourself, and see the best in every situation. So today, I encourage you to do a checkup on your thoughts. What have you been allowing to take root in your mind? Are there any negative patterns you need to break? Don't let infected thinking rob you of your joy, your confidence, or your future. Take control of your mind. Replace fear with faith and step into the amazing life that's waiting for you. Too many people live their lives believing the lies of toxic thoughts. They've heard, you're not good enough, you'll never succeed, or you don't have what it takes, for so long that they've started to accept these thoughts as truth. But let me remind you today, those thoughts do not define you. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it belongs to you. Just because you feel fear doesn't mean you're weak. Just because doubt whispers you can't do it doesn't mean you're incapable. The truth is, toxic thoughts are like uninvited guests in your mind. They show up without permission, bringing baggage filled with fear, insecurity, and shame. But here's the good news. You don't have to accept what they say. You don't have to entertain every thought that comes your way. You have the power to reject what is false and embrace what is true. The moment you recognize a toxic thought, you can choose to replace it with something better, something life-giving, something that reminds you of your worth. Think about it this way. If someone knocked on your door carrying bags of garbage, asking to dump it in your living room, would you let them in? Of course not. So why do we allow toxic thoughts to fill our minds with negativity? Why do we let them take up space in our hearts, shaping how we see ourselves? It's time to close the door on those lies. You are not what toxic thoughts say you are. You are strong, capable, and worthy of success. The problem is, if you've believed toxic thoughts for a long time, they start to feel like truth. Maybe you've heard them since childhood, or maybe you've had failures that made them seem real. But just because something feels true doesn't mean it is. Feelings can be misleading. The enemy of your mind wants to keep you trapped in fear and self-doubt because he knows if you ever realize who you really are, you'll rise up and step into the greatness you were created for. You must remind yourself daily of who you really are. You are not your past mistakes. You are not your failures. You are not what people have spoken over you in anger or jealousy. You are not the labels others have placed on you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, full of potential, equipped with everything you need to fulfill your destiny. The only thing standing in your way is the belief that you are less than what you truly are. The key to breaking free from toxic thoughts is replacing them with truth. When a thought comes that says, "You're not good enough," replace it with, "I am more than enough." When you hear, "You'll never get past this," declare, "I am an overcomer." When insecurity tries to creep in, remind yourself, "I am chosen, I am capable, I am victorious." The words you speak have power, and the more you declare truth, the weaker those toxic thoughts become. You have to be intentional about feeding your mind the right things. What you focus on will grow. If you keep replaying negative thoughts, they will strengthen their grip on you. But if you meditate on thoughts of hope, faith, and victory, you'll start to see yourself differently. The battle is won in your mind first. The moment you change the way you think, everything in your life will begin to change. So today, make a decision. No more believing lies. No more living in fear. No more letting toxic thoughts define you. You are not weak. You are strong. You are not forgotten, you are chosen. You are not defeated, you are victorious. The only thing that can hold you back is the belief that you're not enough. But the truth is, you are more than enough. Walk in that truth and watch how your life transforms. Your mind is one of the greatest gifts you have, but it can also become one of your biggest obstacles if you allow contaminated thinking to take root. Contaminated thinking is any pattern of thought that limits your potential, steals your joy, or fills you with doubt, fear, or negativity. It's the kind of thinking that tells you, "I'll never be successful, I'm not good enough," or "things will never change." These thoughts don't just come out of nowhere. They are shaped by past experiences, the words of others, and the fears we've picked up along the way. But just because they exist doesn't mean they have the right to stay. Imagine you had a glass of pure, clean water in front of you, but someone came along and dropped in a small amount of poison. You wouldn't drink it, even if it was mostly clean. You wouldn't think, "Well, it's only a little bit contaminated, so it's probably fine." No, you would get rid of it immediately. In the same way, even a small amount of contaminated thinking can affect every area of your life. It's not enough to just think mostly positive. You have to be committed to eliminating every toxic thought that tries to take root in your mind. One of the biggest sources of contaminated thinking is past experiences. Maybe you tried something before and it didn't work out. Now, every time you step into something new, that voice of doubt says, "Why bother? It's going to fail just like last time." But just because something didn't work before doesn't mean it won't work now. Growth happens when you learn from your past, not when you allow it to control your future. Don't let one setback convince you that you're stuck. Another way contaminated thinking creeps in is through the words of others. People will try to tell you what you can and can't do based on their own fears, their own failures, or their own limited thinking. They'll say, "You'll never make it in that business. You don't have what it takes. You should just settle for where you are." But just because someone speaks, it doesn't mean it's true. You have to be strong enough to filter out the voices that don't align with your destiny and hold on to the ones that push you toward greatness. Contaminated thinking also thrives in comparison. In today's world, it's easy to look at what others have, what they're accomplishing, or how successful they seem, and think, I'm not doing enough, or I'll never measure up. But comparison will always rob you of joy. You weren't created to live someone else's journey. You were created for your own unique purpose. The moment you stop focusing on what others are doing and start focusing on what you were called to do, you'll feel a new level of freedom. So how do you eliminate contaminated thinking? First, you have to become aware of it. You can't fight something you don't recognize. Start paying attention to your thoughts. Are they lifting you up or tearing you down? Are they filled with faith or filled with fear? The moment you identify a negative pattern, you can take steps to replace it. Second, you have to actively reject what doesn't serve you. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean you have to accept it. When a thought says you're not enough, reject it immediately and replace it with, I am more than enough. Third, fill your mind with the right things. If you want to get rid of contaminated thinking, you have to replace it with pure, healthy, life-giving thoughts. Read things that inspire you. Listen to people who encourage you. And speak words over yourself that align with your true potential. The more you feed your mind the right things, the less room there will be for negativity. Eliminating contaminated thinking is not a one-time event. It's a daily practice. But the more you do it, the more you'll see your mindset shift, your confidence grow, and your life transform. Your thoughts create your reality, so make sure they're working for you, not against you. When you eliminate contaminated thinking, you make space for the clarity, strength, and success that have been waiting for you all along. Fear is one of the greatest weapons that can hold you back from living the life you were meant to live. It whispers, what if you fail? What if things don't work out? What if you're not good enough? Fear thrives in uncertainty. And if you allow it to take root, it will limit your potential, steal your joy, and keep you from stepping into your destiny. But here's the good news. You don't have to live in fear. You can replace it with faith. Faith and fear cannot operate in the same space. Fear looks at challenges and says, this is too big for me. Faith looks at the same challenge and says, with the right mindset, I can overcome this. Fear sees obstacles as permanent. Faith sees them as temporary. Fear keeps you stuck in doubt, but faith moves you forward in confidence. The choice is yours. Will you live by fear or will you walk by faith? The truth is, fear is often based on lies. It magnifies problems, making them seem bigger than they really are. It tells you that you're not capable when in reality you are more than capable. It tells you that the worst will happen when in reality things could turn out better than you imagine. That's why it's so important to challenge fear with faith. Because faith reminds you of what's possible, not what's impossible. Think about a child learning to walk. At first they stumble and fall, but they don't let fear stop them. They get up and try again. If they let fear take over, they would never take another step. But because they believe, because they have faith that they can do it, they keep going until they succeed. The same principle applies to your life. You may have fallen, but that doesn't mean you should stop walking. You may have failed, but that doesn't mean you should stop believing. Faith tells you to get up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. One of the best ways to replace fear with faith is to change your focus. Fear grows when you focus on what could go wrong. Faith grows when you focus on what could go right. Instead of dwelling on the obstacles, start focusing on the possibilities. Instead of replaying negative scenarios in your mind, start visualizing success. What you focus on expands. So if you want more faith, you have to shift your attention away from fear. Another powerful way to eliminate fear is by taking action. Fear wants you to stay still, to overthink, to hesitate, but faith requires movement. Even if you don't have all the answers, even if you don't feel 100% ready, take the next step. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite fear. The more you take action, the weaker fear becomes and the stronger your faith grows. Surround yourself with voices that build your faith, not ones that feed your fear. Fear is contagious, but so is faith. If you constantly listen to negativity, doubt, and discouragement, fear will take control. But if you fill your mind with encouragement, truth, and confidence, faith will rise up inside you. Choose to listen to voices that push you forward, not ones that hold you back. At the end of the day, fear may knock on your door, but you don't have to let it in. You have the power to choose faith over fear. When you feel afraid, remind yourself, I am stronger than this. I have everything I need. I am walking by faith, not by fear. The moment you make that decision, fear loses its grip and faith takes over. And when faith takes over, nothing is impossible. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you allow to be planted, there will grow. If you fill it with positive, faithful, empowering thoughts, you'll produce a life of confidence, joy, and success. But if you allow negativity, fear, and doubt to take root, they will choke out your potential and limit your ability to move forward. That's why you must be intentional about guarding your mental space, because what you allow into your mind will eventually shape your life. Too often, people don't realize that their struggles aren't just external. They begin in the mind. Before you ever give up on a dream, you first believe the lie that it wasn't possible. Before you ever settle for less, you first entertain the thought that you weren't capable of more. Before you ever let fear hold you back, you first accepted the idea that you weren't strong enough. The battle always starts in the mind. And that's why you must protect your mental space like your life depends on it. Because it does. One of the biggest ways to guard your mind is by being careful about what you allow in. Think about it. If you had a house full of valuables, you wouldn't leave your front door wide open for thieves to walk in and take whatever they want. But too often, people do exactly that with their minds. They allow negativity from the news, toxic conversations, and self-defeating thoughts to take up residence in their mental space. If you want to have a strong, focused, and faithful mind, you have to be selective about what you let in. The same goes for the people you surround yourself with. Some people lift you up while others drain your energy. Some people challenge you to grow while others keep you stuck in a cycle of doubt and insecurity. If you're constantly around people who complain, criticize, and feed negativity, it will affect your mindset. But when you surround yourself with people who encourage you, push you forward, and speak life into you, your mental space will become stronger and more resilient. Who you allow to speak into your life will determine the level of peace and confidence you walk in. Another way to guard your mental space is by being mindful of your self-talk. The words you say to yourself matter more than anything others say about you. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm not good enough, I always mess up, or I'll never get ahead, then you're planting seeds of failure in your mind. But if you choose to speak life over yourself, saying, I am capable, I am growing, I am strong, then you are watering the seeds of success. Your mind believes what you repeatedly tell it. So make sure your words are working for you, not against you. Distractions are another enemy of a guarded mind. In today's world, there are countless things competing for your attention. Social media, news, endless notifications, and opinions from every direction. If you're not careful, your mind can become cluttered, leaving no room for clarity, creativity, or peace. That's why it's important to set boundaries. Be intentional about what you give your time and energy to. Not everything deserves your attention. Protect your mental space by making room for what truly matters. One of the most powerful ways to guard your mind is by feeding it daily with the right thoughts. Just like your body needs nourishment, your mind needs the right fuel. Start your day by filling your mind with positive, uplifting words. Read things that inspire you, listen to messages that build your faith, and spend time in reflection and gratitude. The more you feed your mind with truth, the less room there will be for negativity to take hold. At the end of the day, your mental space is your responsibility. No one else can protect it for you. If you don't guard it, negativity will take over by default. But when you are intentional about what you allow in, who you surround yourself with, and what you focus on, you create a mental environment where peace, confidence, and success can thrive. Make the decision today to guard your mental space. Because when your mind is strong, there's nothing you can't accomplish. Who you spend time with has a direct impact on your mindset, your confidence, and ultimately your success. The people you allow into your life either lift you up or pull you down, either encourage you toward your purpose or distract you from it. That's why you must be intentional about surrounding yourself with positive influences, people who inspire you, challenge you to grow, and remind you of your potential. Have you ever noticed how your mood shifts depending on who you're around? Spend time with complainers, and before long, you'll find yourself complaining too. Hang around people who constantly speak doubt and fear, and soon you'll start questioning your own abilities. But when you spend time with those who are full of faith, encouragement, and determination, their mindset begins to rub off on you. Their energy fuels you. Their words uplift you, and their presence strengthens you. The truth is, your environment shapes your thinking. If you're surrounded by negativity, it's only a matter of time before it affects your perspective. But when you intentionally place yourself in an atmosphere of growth and positivity, you start to see new possibilities, dream bigger, and step into a higher level of confidence. The people around you should push you forward, not hold you back. Think about an eagle. Eagles don't waste time flying with pigeons. They soar at high altitudes where only other eagles can reach. If you want to go higher in life, you can't stay in an environment that keeps you low. You need to surround yourself with people who think bigger, believe greater, and challenge you to rise higher. If the people around you don't push you toward growth, it may be time to change your circle. It's not just people. The content you consume is also an influence. The books you read, the music you listen to, the shows you watch, and the voices you allow into your life all shape your mindset. If you're constantly feeding your mind negativity, doubt, and fear, it will be difficult to walk in confidence. But when you fill your mind with words of encouragement, wisdom, and inspiration, you develop a mindset that is strong, resilient, and ready to succeed. Sometimes, in order to surround yourself with the right influences, you have to distance yourself from the wrong ones. This doesn't mean you have to cut people off completely, but you do need to be mindful of how much access they have to your life. If someone constantly drains your energy, discourages your dreams, or fills your mind with doubt, it may be time to set boundaries. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. Surrounding yourself with positive influences doesn't mean avoiding challenges or ignoring reality. It means choosing to be around those who see solutions instead of problems, who believe in possibilities instead of limitations, and who remind you of your strength instead of feeding your fears. You need people who bring out the best in you, who see your potential even when you don't, and who refuse to let you settle for less than you're capable of. At the end of the day, you become like the people you spend the most time with. If you want to live with confidence, faith, and purpose, surround yourself with those who already embody those qualities. Find mentors who inspire you, friends who support you, and voices that challenge you to keep growing. The right influences will not only change your mindset, they will change your life. Everyone has faced failures at some point in life. Maybe you took a risk and it didn't work out. Maybe you made a bad decision and now you regret it. Maybe you gave your best effort and it still wasn't enough. Failure is painful, but it's also a part of growth. The problem isn't failure itself. It's when you allow failure to define you. When you hold on to past mistakes, disappointments, or setbacks, you become a prisoner of your past. But here's the truth. You are not your failures. Too often people let failure become their identity. They say things like, I guess I'm just not meant to succeed. I always mess things up. I'll never get another chance. But that's contaminated thinking. A failure is an event, not a definition. Just because something didn't work out doesn't mean you were a failure. Just because you stumbled doesn't mean you can't rise again. Your destiny is not tied to your past mistakes. It's tied to your willingness to move forward. Think about a driver on a long journey. If they make a wrong turn, they don't park their car and give up. They reroute, correct their course, and keep moving. But so many people do the opposite in life. They take a wrong turn, experience failure, and decide to stop trying. They let a detour become their destination. But failure is never the final destination. It's just part of the road to success. Even some of the most successful people in the world failed many times before they reached their goals. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before he created the light bulb. Walt Disney was told he lacked creativity before building an empire. These people didn't let their failures define them. They used them as stepping stones. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the absence of failure, but the refusal to quit. One of the biggest lies failure tells you is that it's too late, that because you failed before, you can't try again. But as long as you're breathing, your story isn't over. Maybe you made mistakes in your career, in relationships, or in decisions about your future. But you don't have to carry those mistakes with you forever. Every day is a new opportunity to rise above the past and step into your potential. Refusing to be a prisoner of past failures starts with changing your perspective. Instead of seeing failure as an ending, see it as a lesson. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, focus on what you can learn. Every failure carries wisdom, wisdom that makes you stronger, smarter, and better prepared for the future. What if your last failure wasn't a setback, but a setup for your greatest comeback? You have to make a decision. Will you let your past failures imprison you, or will you use them as fuel to propel you forward? The past only has power over you if you let it. You don't live there anymore. Let go of the guilt, the regret, the self-doubt. Stop replaying what went wrong and start focusing on what can go right. You can't change the past, but you can shape your future. The next time failure tries to whisper in your ear, remind yourself, I am not my past. I am not my mistakes. I am strong, I am capable, and I am moving forward. Your best days are still ahead of you. Refuse to be a prisoner of past failures, because you were made to rise, not to stay stuck. Your words have power. What you say about yourself, your future, and your circumstances shapes the direction of your life. Too often, people speak defeat over themselves without even realizing it. They say things like, I'll never get ahead, I'm not good enough, nothing ever works out for me. But those words are like seeds planted in the soil of your mind, and over time, they produce the very reality you fear. If you want to live a victorious life, you must speak words of victory. Think about a thermostat. A thermostat doesn't just report the temperature, it sets it. In the same way, your words don't just describe your life, they determine the atmosphere around you. If you keep declaring, I'm always struggling, you're setting the temperature for struggle. If you keep saying, I never have enough, you're creating a mindset of lack. But if you start saying, I am blessed, I am capable, I am walking into my best season, then you are shifting the atmosphere to align with victory. The truth is, life will always bring challenges. There will be days when you feel discouraged, moments when things don't go as planned, but that's when your words matter most. Don't let difficulties talk you into defeat. Use your words to rise above them. When you face obstacles, don't say, I don't know how I'll get through this. Instead, declare, I am strong, I am equipped, and I will overcome. When fear tries to creep in, don't say, I'm not sure if I can do this. Instead, say, I have everything I need to succeed. Speaking victory doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing to believe in possibilities greater than your problems. It means aligning your words with faith instead of fear, confidence instead of doubt. Maybe in the past, you've spoken words of negativity over your life without even realizing it. But today, you can make a new decision. You can choose to speak victory. Start every morning by declaring something positive over yourself. Say things like, today is a new day filled with new opportunities. I am strong, I am blessed, and I am walking in purpose. I have the wisdom, the talent, and the favor to succeed. No obstacle is too big for me to overcome. Great things are ahead for me. It may feel strange at first, especially if you've been used to speaking negatively, but over time, those words will take root. They will shape your mindset, strengthen your confidence, and open doors you never imagined. Your words create your reality, so why not create a reality filled with victory? If you've been speaking defeat over your life, it's time to shift your language. Start speaking life. Start speaking strength. Start speaking success. When you change your words, you change your world. Victory starts with what comes out of your mouth. So speak it, believe it, and walk in it. Your future is waiting for you, filled with new opportunities, breakthroughs, and blessings beyond what you can imagine. But too often, people hesitate to move forward because they're held back by fear, doubt, or past disappointments. They stay stuck in what was instead of stepping boldly into what can be. If you want to experience the fullness of your potential, you have to make a decision. Will you let fear keep you where you are, or will you step into your future with confidence? Confidence isn't about having all the answers. It's not about knowing exactly how everything will work out. Confidence is about trusting that you have everything you need to take the next step. It's about believing that no matter what challenges arise, you are strong enough, capable enough, and prepared enough to handle them. So many people let their past define them. They look at past failures, missed opportunities, or mistakes and think, I'm not qualified to move forward. But here's the truth. Your past does not determine your future. Your mindset does. Just because you stumbled before doesn't mean you can't walk into something greater now. Just because something didn't work out in the past doesn't mean something better isn't ahead. The only way to know is to step forward. Think about a door. When you approach a door, you don't just stand in front of it waiting for it to open on its own. You reach out, turn the handle, and walk through. Your future is like that door. It's not going to open for you unless you take action. You have to decide to move forward, even when you don't have all the details, even when fear whispers that you're not ready. One of the biggest things that holds people back is self-doubt. They believe lies about themselves that were never meant to be their truth. They think, I'm not smart enough, I don't have the right connections, what if I fail? But what if, instead of focusing on what could go wrong, you focused on what could go right? What if you started telling yourself, I am ready for this. I have what it takes. Doors of opportunity are opening for me. The way you speak about your future determines the way you step into it. Another key to stepping into your future with confidence is letting go of what no longer serves you. Some people can't move forward because they're still carrying baggage from the past. Old disappointments, toxic relationships, limiting beliefs. But you can't step into something new while holding on to what's weighing you down. It's time to release what's behind you so you can embrace what's ahead. Remember this. You are stronger than you think. You have been equipped with everything you need to handle the challenges ahead. You don't have to have every detail figured out. You just have to take the next step. Your future is bigger than your past, greater than your fears, and more beautiful than you can imagine. But the only way to step into it is with confidence. So stand tall, lift your head, shake off the doubt. Your best days are ahead. Walk into them with boldness, expectation, and faith. My friend, you were never meant to live in fear, doubt, or regret. You were created for more joy, more purpose, more victory. The past is behind you, and the future is calling your name. But the question is, will you step into it with confidence? It's time to let go of the negativity. Release the old way of thinking and start walking in the truth of who you are. You are not your failures. You are not your past. You are not what fear or insecurity tries to tell you. You are strong, capable, and destined for greatness. So don't hold back. Don't stay stuck in yesterday when a new chapter is waiting to be written. Speak victory over your life. Surround yourself with the right influences. Guard your mind. Choose faith over fear. The road ahead may not always be easy, but you are not alone, and you are more than enough for the journey ahead. This is your moment. Step forward, step boldly, step into your future with confidence, because your best days are still ahead of you.